Alright, today we're getting started with Final Cut Pro version 10.5.4 and we're creating new libraries, events, and projects. So here we go. Okay, let's do this. We want to create a new library. So the protocol that we will follow is to go File, New, Library. Note here also that there are no shortcuts, so the menu strategy is your only roadmap to the new library. When you hit Enter, a pop-up will appear, and you'll complete it as follows. We're naming this library as Library 1. We're locating it on an external drive named FCPX-external. You should remember that the default location for the library is the movie folder on the internal drive. So if you're using an external drive, make those adjustments accordingly. When you hit Enter, the library will appear in your left sidebar and a default event is automatically included. That event is named according to the date of the creation. Okay. Now we're ready to create a new event. If you recall, a new event was created automatically when we created the library, and it was named according to the date of the creation. You cannot delete that event unless you create a new one. So to illustrate the procedure, we're going to create a new event, and the protocol will be to firstly use a menu strategy, select the target library, go File, New Event, and when we hit Enter, up jumps a pop-up. Now, let's take that down, and alternately you could use a mouse strategy by right-clicking the target library and going directly to New Event, and when you do, up jumps a pop-up. Now let's take that down and go with an alternate strategy, a keyboard strategy. We will select the target library and hit Option N, and up jumps the same pop-up. Here we're going to complete the pop-up as follows. Firstly, we're going to specify the location as Library 1. We're going to name the event Event 2. Thirdly, you should also notice that you can create a project at this time by clicking on this small box, but we're going to pass that opportunity so we can create it in a more direct manner later on. And lastly, we're going to click OK or hit Enter. Now the event appears in the left sidebar and is ready for media importation. Now, there's an alternative strategy for creating a new library from an existing event. Probably this would be most appropriate when working on a large documentary and accessing the media of a current event, yet having to add to it and at the same time maintaining some good organization. Under those circumstances, the best protocol would be to select the target event in the sidebar and then go File, Copy Events to Library, New Library, and when you hit Enter, up jumps a pop-up. The protocol from here forward repeats that previously specified, and you should complete it as follows. Place library on the external drive, which is in this case FCPX external. Name it, and we're naming it in abbreviated fashion alternate library, and then hit Enter. Upon hitting Enter, a second pop-up appears. This pop-up queries you about your preference for optimized or proxy media. If you want to preserve space and speed, choose proxy media. If speed and space are not an issue, optimized media will make your workflow look better. Make a choice and act accordingly. We're choosing optimized media for screen capture purposes. Then hit Save, and when you do, the new library appears in the left sidebar. Okay, now we're ready to put all of our media together into a project, and we have several ways that we can do that. Firstly, we can follow a menu strategy and select the target event and then go File, New Project, and when we click on it, up jumps a pop-up. Secondly, we can follow a mouse strategy by right-clicking the target event and then clicking New Project directly, and up jumps the same pop-up. Thirdly, we can follow a keyboard strategy by selecting the target event and entering Command N, and up jumps the same pop-up. Alternately again, you ought to remember when we created the previous alternate library, we had the option of creating a project at that time. Now, we're going to right-click the target event and click on New Project. And when we do, up jumps the pop-up. And you're queried for the desired project settings. You can select at this time to allow Final Cut to choose the settings automatically. And if you do, they will be determined by the first video clip imported. We're choosing manual settings and will complete it as follows. For name, we're using Project A. For event location, we're selecting Event 2. We're choosing 1080p for format, 1920 by 1080 for resolution, 29.97 for frame rate, Apple ProRes 422 for codec, and already selected for color space is Standard Rec 709. We're selecting stereo for audio and 48 kilohertz for sample rate. Now, when you click OK, you'll see that the project appears in the target event and it's ready for media importation. Now, that's how you create libraries, events, and projects with Final Cut Pro. Write down those protocols if you want to. You can put all of them on 3 lines. Tape them to your desk if you want to. You have a good one now.